Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Farmer Nash, and you already know the deal. Today, we have a very, very, very special guest in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, I am with none other than Deezy. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone watching? Tell us a little bit about you and your involvement in NFTs and Web3.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a very special guest. You're the one with the
No,
trophies.
I
Look at the
didn't say
background,
very.
man. I mean,
I said
I have,
very, very, very special guest. It's
yeah,
different.
I'm not even deserving of one very, let alone three. That's, 3x my floor price here. Man, I'm Deezy. You may see me, Deezy.eth. You may see me, Deezy.ada, money sign Deezy, Deezy BTC, Deezy MTG. I'm Deezy. I've been in NFTs for a few years now. I jumped in early with Gods Unchained, but I didn't really count that as NFTs at the time. I had my Ethereum wallet, but it was really I got involved. I want to say Solana and Ethereum fairly early last year. And once I dived into the ecosystem, pretty quickly started putting out content. I've always loved, just nerding out on the blockchain. I was super into DeFi before that, so NFTs kind of scratched my itch. I have a Magic the Gathering background, so the collectible thing, I was already familiar with it. I get the value proposition there. I was, first person to catch all 150 Pokemon in my high school. Yeah, a little humble brag there. So
Yeah.
I've always understood the value proposition of NFT. So I mean, it just clicked with me, and started making content with NFT Alpha. Next thing you know, started getting Cardano about 10 months ago, and just been putting out content. We've worked on a couple projects where I work over there at Bitboy Crypto / Hit Network. So I've seen it from the founding side, the project manager side, the degen side, the collector side, the content creator side. So yeah, I like to put out a lot of good content and keep it lighthearted, keep it breezy. I'm not here to give you a bunch of statistics. There's a lot of people who do that real good. I just want to make some good vibes, maybe a meme or two.
Yeah, there you go. Right. So you have actually a few things going on, right? So you got your personal kind of persona, which is DZ. You got
Mhm.
NFT Alpha, which is your show, and then you're also part of Bitboy's crew, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and
Anything
we have
else
a
I'm missing?
launch, in like 2 weeks. We're dropping a project on Cardano same Saturday as
Oh,
CNFT Con, and so that should be like a little hype event during the Vegas meetup.
are you guys going to be there?
Yeah, we'll be there. It's the
Oh,
JPEG Junkies, so it'll be me, Justin, Taco. We're some of the main people on the team there. We do have a guy in England. He's not going to be able to make it. Our artist, he probably won't be able to make it. But us three will be out there. We'll be doing junkie moves on the casino floor.
hey, there you go. That's what it's all about. Tell me a little bit about NFT Alpha, and then tell me about Bitboy's crew, and then lastly your project if you want to get into that. So just a quick rundown of what each of those are and what you do for them.
Yeah, NFT Alpha, it's a sister channel on Bitboy Crypto. It started as a show. It actually started as NFT Update. We had a little beef with the guy who had that name. I think he got the Twitter handle a month or two before we made the show name. We didn't even think about having a separate Twitter account and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. So we ended up changing from NFT Update to NFT Alpha. It was just a show on Bitboy Crypto, eventually spun off into our own channel about a year ago, and just been making content regularly on that. We started with Ethereum content, Solana content, and then got into Cardano content. Now mostly Cardano content. And Bitboy Crypto, those who don't know, it's a polarizing channel. Ben Armstrong, he is Bitboy Crypto. He doesn't shy away from his beliefs, and some of his beliefs, people, it agitates some, and other people they champion him for sharing those beliefs. And so it's a polarizing channel, but I've been involved with them for almost 2 years of it, a year and a half at least at this point. And yeah, man, I love the Bitboy crew. It's there's a lot going on behind the scenes. We've had a lot of Cardano influencers come check out what we have going on behind the scenes. They're all impressed, and people in the crypto space, of course. And we just make regular content out of there. It's the #1 crypto channel in all of North America. So number
Damn.
2 in the world. There's one in England, I think, that beats us. Coin Bureau, I think they have slightly more subs, but yeah, we're at 1.5 million subs. I host the 5 p.m. show there Monday through Friday. We get, right now in the bear market, 25,000 views, but the heyday, it's a 250,000 view episode, per episode there.
Oh yeah.
So we put out a lot of content, and in-house Hit Network, this is the corporation that owns all of that. We've done a few drops. We've done them on ETH. This is going to be our first Cardano NFT. It's JPEG Junkies. You can find it on Twitter. It's pretty cool. It's just like the theme is, are you a junkie? Are you a junkie for JPEGs? Are you willing to steal your mom's purse for a Cardano NFT. That's the vibe we're going for. And we're kind of keeping under wraps our utility till post mint. We just think that's probably wise moving forward in this magnifying lens with the SEC and everything. So we just want to make sure we're not over trying to hype. But I will say this. We've been talking to apparel people. I will say this. We have a wallet full of blue chips on Cardano. I will say this. Some of these blue chips have popped up on hoodies. A chill pop, Space Buds, maybe an Ape Society. So, you know, imagine if you had, just imagine. I'm not saying we'll do this. Just imagine.
All right. Let's think about it, right?
You go to a website. It links to your Cardano wallet. You would be able to get a JPEG Junkie web hoodie. But imagine if your wallet also had a clay. And now you and only people like you with the clay and a JPEG Junkie can order that limited edition clay hoodie.
If
there might only be a few.
Hypothetically, if that were to happen, I would be very interested in that, because I really want to rock my NFT stuff in public so people can see how much of an idiot I am.
Yeah, people got to know that you're into illiquid JPEGs.
Exactly.
And so you got to advertise that fact that, hey, I'm having fun even though I'm poor. That's kind of what we envision. We're still talking to devs. We're still looking at price. We're not charging much. It's going to be a $30 NFT. You know, Cardano is a different animal than ETH. ETH, you can raise $10 million, $3 million. But on Cardano, unless you're trying to drain the liquidity out of your whole community, you know, you might only raise, sounds crazy, but like, you know, $200,000, $170,000. So you got 17 million. $170,000. That's 100x difference. That's a huge factor of what kind of value you can deliver. So we're trying to keep expectations low. But to me, a hoodie that, hey, I have a Kong. I go to this website. It knows I have a Kong, allows me to buy this cool limited edition Kong hoodie. Maybe there's only 100. Maybe there's only 300. Maybe there's only 50. I think that's pretty cool. So that's kind of what we're aiming for. But again, you know, this is just all imaginary fantasy land.
Yeah, right. We're just talking over here. So
yeah.
I want to get
brainstorming.
Exactly. I want to get a little bit into kind of Bitboy and your connection with him. So he is the largest crypto influencer in North America, second largest in the world. And a lot of people,
by
YouTube subs. A lot of people love him. A lot of people hate him. Yes. And a lot of people say he like promotes projects like rug pulls, stuff like that. Do you have anything to say to those people?
Sure. There's a lot of misinformation out there. You know, we did do sponsored content. They did it regularly. I mean, if you were in crypto in 2018, 2019, everybody was looking for those 50x, 100x, 1000x tokens. Now this is, all right, we've washed out all the crap. It's 2022. Any token from 2019, 2020, they're all pretty much down 95%. So it's real easy to share a chart of anybody saying anything in, say, July of 2020 or June of 2019. You take any token and you look at the price today, it's probably not going to be pretty.
Even like the top 50, like top 25, top 50 coins
are
down
that's
like 90%.
Not the coins that people want to bring up, you know. You know, he'll do a Bitcoin video back then, but, you know, you're not going to look at that and say, haha, you know, it moved this much. Because, yeah, like Bitcoin's probably up if you look at July of 2020 for sure. But when you look at some of the altcoins, you know, I just told you know, we put out so much content. Right now, I think we do 3-4 videos a day on that channel. Before it was always like 3. Before that, it was 2. Before that, it was 1. I mean, you make a video every day. You only do so many Bitcoin videos. And people want those. People want low cap gems. You know, they want them. And sometimes, yeah, it went up 20x, 10x. People won't take profits and they'll ride it all the way down to 0. Then they get mad. And then you look at the chart and you say, oh, he said this is, you know, maybe the next Matic. And, you know, now it's down 98%. Well, at the time, you know, that was kind of the space. Everybody was looking for gems. Everybody was looking for the next big thing. Then, like me, and to like a lot of people, they didn't think it was over in December, January 2017, 2018. You know, when it's 4 months later after that Bitcoin high, hopium was in abundance. You know, everybody, oh man,
we were all blindsided. We were all kind of blindsided, I would say, or at least most people, not everyone, of course, but
yeah. Then you have the big dead cat bounce. You know, look, oh, we're back. You know, then things start crashing again. So yeah, we haven't done. You know, we quit doing sponsored content in January. You know, it's October almost. That was a long time ago, and so people bring it up like he's still doing it today. It is a little frustrating, you know, that we did quit doing it. it's a big operation. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that you don't see. He's giving away like a car every single month to a family in need in Atlanta. Donates to a lot of charities, donates to like a lot of local kids sports stuff. And so this at the end of the day, it is a corporation. There is a P&L. You do sponsored content, you do get paid for it. He was disclosing it. So I mean, there's a lot of falsehoods out there. There's a lot of misinformation. And yeah, I mean, I don't mind talking about it at all, but that's kind of behind the scenes. That's really what's going on. Like, we haven't done it in a long time, but people still act like he's, trying to shill 1,000x altcoin. Couldn't be further from the truth of what he's actually doing today.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think a lot of us are excited to see kind of the next chapter for Bitboy and basically the whole team too, and kind of move past, everything that people currently think or may have thought. And I want to talk a little bit about Cardano NFTs because
Mhm.
obviously you think I'm going to say you believe in the ecosystem or else you wouldn't even
Yeah.
launch your project on there. So recently, Cardano has NFTs specifically have been gaining a lot of traction, right? And I
Yeah.
think me and you are a little similar because we both kind of found a little, I'm going to say niche, like friend group or people who support us in the Cardano ecosystem, but we both rock ETH PFPs, right? Which is
Yes.
a little funny. So tell me how you kind of started out in the Cardano ecosystem. How long has it been and how'd you stumble upon it?
Yeah, I remember my first purchase was January 4th. I got told about it January 3rd, looked into it the next day, downloaded wallet, got on cnft.io and started degening out. So my ETH, you can see it right there. It's a mutant ape. I love my mutant ape. My mutant ape is my favorite NFT. Now, it doesn't mean I like Ethereum more than Cardano. I mean, you can have two thoughts in the mind at the same time, but Mutant Ape, I mean, what Bored Ape and Yuga Labs is doing is just incredible. Have you been to Ape Fest?
No, I don't have anything Yuga Labs. I want stuff, but I don't have anything.
Yeah, I mean, Ape Fest was just so incredible. The execution was so awesome. I mean, I went to a free little baby concert, saw Timberland, free food, free alcohol, just good
That's
times, well
dope.
put together. And like, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, I still love it. But I do like Cardano as a whole more than Ethereum. I don't have the same complaints as a lot of the ADA people where their main complaint is gas fees. That is the main complaint. But I don't really have an issue with that. I remember $70 gas fees. I remember, minting an NFT costing $100. I've been there, done that. I understand, why. The volume is on ETH right now. Gas is cheap, so really, to
It's
me,
like
this is like I
one to
don't
three
care.
dollars right now.
Yes,
But it
nothing
might
to
it may
me.
not be
That's
like
nothing.
that forever though. It may not be like that
Yeah, and
forever.
it will go up. And ETH is $5,000. Probably eventually 10. It will go up, of course, but we're not seeing it now for sure. I remember, so got in Cardano January 4th. First NFT I ever purchased was a Boss Cat. So I got on the Boss Cat Rocket Club.
Oh yeah.
Very quickly found out, just like Ben and Bitboy, that is a very polarizing project. Not so much now compared to back then. Back then, it had all the thunder, all the glory, all the hype, just kind of like Ape Society does. And we've seen with Ape Society over the last 48 hours, when you're number one in Cardano, it puts a target on your back. I don't know why maybe there's just more noise in Ethereum, so that noise gets lost, and Cardano
It's
is
just
less
human
noise.
nature, honestly. Like even the apes have been number one for a long time. People hate on them. There's crazy accusations. Like D God's number one right now. People hate on them. I think it's just normal for like the king for people to get jealous, mad, and all that. Start FUD. I think it's normal, honestly.
Yeah, and we're seeing it now for sure. And I do have an Ape Society, full disclosure. I like to have a jokey relationship because I think part of their shtick is like Esquire and a distinguished gentleman. So I like to go in there with as a JPEG junkie and just like go in and break the china. And so some of the community members might not like me for that, but overwhelmingly positive interactions with that community there. But yeah, Boss Cat, I mean, they were like that back then, and there's like questionable sales data, wash trading. People are accusing them of doing that to jump to the top of JPEG store. But you know what, Boss Cat, they made me a lot of money. It kind of jump started my Cardano NFT journey, and now I have all the blue chips, and I can thank Boss Cat for that. So I don't really have any ill will. In fact, I went to the Boss Cat party in New York. It was super fun, but I do like Cardano NFTs. That's kind of, it seems like the upside potential is there comparative to ETH and Sol. So right now it's where
Yeah.
I'm spending my energy.
Yeah. So right now there's a big talk, and I'm actually pushing this movement myself, especially on Twitter, big talk about kind of being cross chain. What I mean by
Yeah.
cross chain isn't like I move my NFT from chain to chain. I mean that I'm one person and I try a bunch of different blockchains. For example, I have NFTs on Ethereum, Solana. I got the Nami wallet on Cardano. I'm trying everything because I want to support the NFT space in general rather than just be like a chain maxi. So, do you think
Yeah.
people should explore all the chains, or do you think it's fine just to kind of be in one chain and stick there?
I think you should definitely be chain agnostic. You should bounce around. You should see what's good on other ones, what's bad with other ones, because everything has its benefits and its minuses there. It's not like Ethereum is better across the board, or Cardano is better across the board, or Solana is better than cross board. I can think in each of those cases how they're doing something better than the other two. And so it is good to experience that and get out of your bubble a little bit. I experience what you and WAB, I would say, are experiencing now. Is people are coming at you and saying, you don't understand Cardano. And you would just say, well, on Ethereum, it works like X. And Cardano, it works like Y. I think X is better than Y. They will not like that. They don't like that. And
Yeah.
I remember in January telling people it was worse back then. A lot of mints were a Discord message with an address. And it said, if you buy one, send
Yeah.
me 60. If you buy two, send me 120. That was so wild to me at first. And it's sure it's most are a little bit better. It's like it's a Twitter announcement or it's on a website instead. That makes it better, right? No, to me, that's super wild. It's super crazy. It's super trust based. And I remember telling people in January, 9 months ago, this isn't good. And as an Ethereum user, it makes me uncomfortable. As an Ethereum user, I don't like it. As an Ethereum user, I think it sucks. And then they would basically say my opinion isn't worth it. They're like, oh yeah, that isn't your opinion's worthless here. No, I mean, like these are valid criticisms. I mean, you know how a smart contract works. It's like you sign it, it's there. And that's super cool. And sure, maybe Cardano's much faster now than it was in January. I mean, I remember waiting a long time for your NFT sometimes. Now
Did
it's
you know
pretty
you can
quick.
bundle transactions in Cardano? Did anyone tell you
And
that
I
before?
love that. And I love that. And I do it. And I've done it and I'll do it again. And but it doesn't mean it's I'll never use ETH because of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are things that are better with other chains. So to answer your question, yeah, get out of your bubble, see what works with other ones, and then go back to your chain that you are maxing in and demand more. Pull a Karen, talk to the manager.
Yeah, I've experienced that actually because I'll make a post or I'll be in a Discord. I can say 9 things great about Cardano and then I'll say one bad thing and I'm instantly, ostracized. So it's a little disheartening, I would say, for someone new to join the ecosystem, and I think that has to change. But I think if we can if the chains can learn from each other and make changes and do things, I really think that and the NFT space would benefit as a whole, and I think that's very important. And now, do you want to name any of your favorite projects on any chains? I know you like Mutant Apes. You said it's your favorite. Any other ones that you want to maybe give a shout out
Yeah,
to?
on
Like,
Solana, I'll give a shout out to the Utes team. Put me on the whitelist. I do appreciate that. But I like Art Punks. They just hit 1 year on Solana. That's a pretty strong team, similar to the Mutant team on Cardano. Art Punks is doing things where they build out this great staking platform, coin platform. They set up this whole like platform for other projects to come on and use their tech.
that's
So
cool.
similar to the Mutant. So I do like. I think the Art Punk team is pretty strong. Uh, as far as Cardano, I mean, I think Space Buds is underutilized. Right? I think people are kind of sleeping on Space Buds. It is the crypto punks of Cardano. Now you can say I don't like crypto punks because of X, Y, and Z, and this is why I don't like it. Sure, but don't say you think crypto punks is a top 3 ETH project and then kind of sleep on Space Buds because of something about the R or something like that. So I
It's
think Space
potential.
Buds, yeah, there's potential there. I think the Mutant team is good. I'm really looking forward to the updated art. I think that is probably the thing holding them back the most because it's very strong devs. What else? On Ethereum, there are things besides, the Yuga IPs that are pretty good. The Goblin Town, they did a great job with their marketing, but wow, it's pretty disheartening to see that floor price as low as it is
Guys,
compared
it
to where
went
it
from
was.
I think a high of 8 point something ETH to what is it, like 0.8 now, I believe.
Yeah, it's way down. And as far as like founders on ETH, I think NFT Llama's a really strong founder. He's doing a whole lot of good stuff. I've held my Llama for a long time since it was like the OG Llamas, So I'm a big fan of what he's doing over there. So the Llamaverse, I do like that. But Cardano, the potential is still there. There's still like a lot of good projects. There's a lot of good ones under 50 and under 100. I don't really want to name names because I don't want to be seen like I'm trying to shill my bag.
Yeah, I feel that.
4 of them. You know, it's so ridiculous. You'll own 4 $20 NFTs and you're like, hey, I think it's pretty good. Here's why. And it goes up to 30 and you don't even sell any. And they're like, you're just pumping your bags. Like, you couldn't be further from the truth.
You're like, bro, you don't know what a pump
$10.
is. Yeah, you don't know what a pump is, bro.
I rode my mutant down $100,000. I don't care about this $8 profit that I could make, you know, flipping this. So yeah, it's interesting to see just how people react to, you know, what, oh, you talked about it. You must have some insidious, you know, meaning behind it. And sometimes it's just like, no, man, I think this panda's cool. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Like
right?
it literally ends there. Like that's the whole basis of my thought there. There was no like, yeah, I got a cabal of people and we're all like, you know, buying 300 of some NFT. Like people know my wallet. They look at my wallet. Like I don't have secret wallets like that. So it's all like out there and transparent.
Yeah, there you go. So, you know, speaking of writing down apes from 100K, in 2020 to 2021, expectations for NFT projects were at all-time lows, right? I could shit and sell out a project, honestly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now in 2022, things are a lot harder. It's actually very difficult to not only launch a project, but to sell out is like, that's a round of applause when you sell out in this bear market. Do you think expectations for the NFT space are going to continue to grow? And like, how are we going to evolve going into 2023?
Well, it's both because people lie to themselves, and you're right about the expectations. For example, remember when New York Times billboard was like a thing to hype? Like, oh my God, they're going to get a billboard in New York Times for 30 seconds, 8 times a day for 2 weeks.
Or,
to the moon!
Or Sandbox Land.
Yeah. Same. Guys, we'll have a hangout in the metaverse, and then we'll buy a blue chip and we'll hang it on our wall. I was that idiot. We were all that idiot at one point. The question is like, how soon do you upgrade your IQ in the space there? So it's like a rubber band, just like you see things with in society. It's like, you know, the loosening of morals and the tightening of morals, and it goes back to loose, or it's like, you know, military intervention. We don't do anything, you know. So you'll just see in society, you'll see swings. He'll swing one direction, it swings too hard, so it swings back. I think we're seeing that now. Before we had such like low expectations. You could fart on the microphone in a Discord channel, you know, a Thursday at 8 p.m. and it's like, that's utility. And then now I think maybe we have the expectations too high, specifically for the cheaper mints or the free mints. If you're a project and you're raising $10 million, by all means have high expectations. But when something's free, maybe taper your expectations, tamp them down a little bit. And when I say people are talking out both sides of their mouth, they're trying to, you know, lie to themselves. Goblin Town. We brought up Goblin Town. Goblin Town, correct me if I'm wrong, was a free mint. Just went up a lot in price. Sure, they're making, you know, decent money on secondary volume, but because your NFT is worth 10 ETH, don't expect the same value from a company that sold NFTs at 3 ETH and sold 10,000 of them at 3 ETH, and now they have 30,000 ETH.
Shout out to Pixelmon.
Their starting war chest.
Yeah, shout out to Pixelmon. 70 mil. 70 mil.
Shout out to Kevin. Yeah, so maybe, you know, just kind of look at it from a business perspective. Not enough people look at NFTs as companies. You know, I know you've been talking about that to some extent. Yeah, NFT, I like to even narrow it down a little bit more. I like to say NFTs are like investing in a tech stock, you know, years ago. Is this app going to fall on its face because there's 20 of them just like it and this is doing nothing unique? Or is this, holy crap, it's the first time I've ever heard anything like this, and I really think they are going to do something cool. You know, look at it that way. Don't expect, you know, some clone of some, you know, random website to all of a sudden just be worth like what a Facebook is. But if you see something that is novel and exciting, you know, maybe bet on it and don't really care what the floor does. Like, do you care if early tech stocks, you know, Amazon crashed in 99, but there were people who believed in it. You know, they held on to it and now they're up like 1,000x and those people are happy. So, you know, if you really do believe in the team and what they're bringing and, you know, you're seeing the roadmap and they're knocking things off, hold it, you know, long-term hold it. That's why I don't really sweat my Ape losing 100,000 in value. It went from like 120 to about 20. I played the lotto just like everybody else. I waited for my other side land drop. I was convinced I was going to get a coda. I knew it was a 10% chance, but I was convinced. Me and Justin, my partner at NFT, I remember, you know, we have desk facing each other. We looked at each other like, I remember the day, I have a good feeling. And he said, me too. That was obviously the top signal. Obviously, like that's when you sell. But you know what? I had a good feeling. I don't care. Yellow. I have a pretty good other side. I don't have the coda, but you know what? I'm still happy. I'm holding on to it. Why? I'm a believer.
Nice. And I do want to say one thing real quick. How NFTs are going to be, you treat them as tech stocks a little bit. I will say the SEC is not going to like that one, right? So we need to rethink our definition a little bit, or else they're going to attack us
No,
for
no,
that.
that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, don't expect any expectation of profit derived
Yeah.
from the efforts of others, including team founders and those within the community.
Yeah.
However, look at it as what are we doing in a 5-year timeline? Look at it that way as a startup company. That's
Yeah.
how I put it, a startup.
I look at it like a jump start or something like that, a GoFundMe or something like
Yep.
that, you know? Now, I want to talk a little bit about, because you are a fan of Yuga Labs, all that. So let's talk about the metaverse. And really, everyone kind of has their different definition of the metaverse. And I want to
Yep.
ask you, is NFT gaming and the metaverse the same thing? Like, what is the metaverse to you? Because you do hold an
No,
ape.
there's
Yuga's
there's
building the
two
metaverse.
extremes essentially. One extreme is Ready Player One. I have to have the haptic feedback suit with the penis sleeve before I am truly a believer. All right, maybe that's a little bit far. We don't need to be like putting chips in our mind. It's like, no, once I can't tell the difference between reality and the metaverse, that's when it's real. No, no, no. Let's roll it back a little bit. Let's roll it back. But then on the other end of the extreme, you have people saying, well, metaverses existed in the early 90s with like early World of Warcraft style games. That's the first metaverse. RuneScape is a metaverse.
RuneScape.
So
Yeah.
how, and if you think about it, RuneScape really isn't that different than the other Deeds demo where they had like 1,600 apes or whatever it was, like running around. That really isn't that big of a leap in technology versus where we're at today in the haptic feedback suit, Ready Player One. So do I think, what we're doing right now, I consider quote unquote the metaverse. What are we doing? We're talking to each other in a virtual environment with the camera, and you're looking in my room, I'm looking in your room, and we're conversing and we're miles apart. That's pretty close to a metaverse to me. So to me,
Yeah. Facts.
metaverse is it's just a way of bridging two people. I don't think it needs to be, I gotta have my eyes closed, or I gotta be wearing the bodysuit, or I gotta have the Neuralink chip. I think that's a little bit too far. But on the metaverse, I think the AR metaverse is going to be eclipsing, like the VR metaverse as far as usability, technical capabilities,
Like
and
Pokemon Go,
really
kind of.
money. Exactly like a Pokemon Go, or you're going to see it with. I think there's a partnership between Meta and Ray Bans, and so we're going to see,
Hmm.
like the Oculus isn't going to be this big bulky thing. Eventually, they're going to have the Ray Bans where you're looking at people, and I'm going to see, oh,
Ooh.
I'm looking at Kevin Nash that identified you with facial recognition technology. It's pulling up whatever I have it set to. Maybe I want to pull up your Discord first. Maybe I want to pull up your Twitter first. Maybe I want to pull up your YouTube first. It's going to do stuff like that, and me and you would just wear our goggles or our Ray Bans, and you're sitting across the desk from me. I would see your body.
That's crazy.
Now, I think they're going to do it. I mean, if you ever get in a new car and they back out, and you see a top-down eagle's eye view, they do that with like a little camera here, a little camera there, a little camera in the front, a little camera in the back. They do the same thing with Ray Bans. Eventually, I'm sure they'll have all types of sensors where, yeah, they can closely approximate how you're sitting, or they're closely approximate. Are you standing? Are you crouching? And that's going to be pretty cool. But it's going to be these small incremental steps, and everybody with these gray definitions of metaverse, it's just going to willy nilly like, oh, I'm into this NFT, so I'm calling it a metaverse. I'm not into Zoom because I hate Google, so I'm not going to call that a metaverse. But
Makes sense.
when we have the haptic feedback suit, yeah, I mean that's all bets off.
Because right now, I think a lot of people in Web3, they hate, I'm going to say Meta, which is, the Facebook pretty much. They hate that idea of a centralized company kind of owning and making the metaverse. But to the general public, that is the metaverse. As of right now, they kind of see it as a big meme a little bit because of the graphics and the terrible presentations. But, I mean, who do you think is going to win in the long run? Or do you think they'll kind of combine
Oh,
in the
meta,
future?
meta, 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 meta. Mark Zuckerberg. Don't bet against Mark. Here's the thing about that. The top metaverse in the world isn't going to have a $20,000 NFT paywall. The top metaverse in the world is going to be free. Who's more likely to give you a free metaverse? Mark Zuckerberg or Yuga Labs?
Yep.
Period. Full stop. Everyone likes to complain about Mark Zuckerberg. How many people go on Instagram every single day? A lot, a whole lot of people. People who swear up and down I would never use Oculus. We're using Instagram. What are you talking about? Get off your moral high horse in your ivory tower. You're talking out of the side of your mouth. You're not being true to yourself. And so, like, a lot of the FUD and the campaign against Mark Zuckerberg and Meta's gonna lose. All these people are talking bull crap because when they have that awesome Ray-Ban tech, they're going to be using it.
That's I would use it. I'm not gonna lie. I would definitely use it.
I don't care. I mean, do I think it's great? Like the Cambridge Analytica stuff, sure, that's bad. You know, I don't really even use Instagram like that. But you know what? I'm using TikTok, which is like CCP propaganda. You know what I mean? They're like collecting data from people. They have access to camera rolls. They're like literally downloading nude pictures from senators' children. You know, like this is happening. This is definitely happening. But people use it all the time. And so to me, it's just like, if you're gonna, don't be a hypocrite. Just say, you know what? I'm using this centralized entities product and I love it.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine, I guess, at least for now. And I think a lot of people will not admit that, but maybe they will in the future. So I want to talk a little bit.
No, they won't admit it. That they'll still be using those Ray-Bans.
Yeah, they won't admit it now. Oh, okay.
They won't admit it then. They won't. They'll still talk crap about Mark Zuckerberg and Meta and how evil they are, and then they're still going to use the product every single day.
It's like what are
you doing?
It's like how we talk about hating centralization, and we all use Twitter every single day for multiple hours a day.
Yeah, I mean, even Uniswaps, this whole decentralized versus centralized, it's all a bunch of load of crap, all right? Because everything is centralized to a degree, even the most decentralized thing in the world. And I'm not going to say Uniswap is, but I'm just throwing out Uniswap as an example here. Uniswap, the #1 decentralized protocol on Ethereum. What is it? It's a peer-to-peer thing. It's totally decentralized. Well, who registered Uniswap.org? Who pays the server bills?
It could be down tomorrow.
And there's nothing centralized to a degree is what I'm saying. That's my point is it is centralized to a degree. Everything is like, it's really just a scale of centralized to decentralized, but this whole ethos of decentralized is the way. It's a fantasy basically, because everything you open the hood, there's a little centralization there, but you know people do, they close the hood and they pretend it isn't there, but it is there. And if we can acknowledge it and accept it, that's when the space can really move forward. That's when we get good corporate partnerships. That's when we can demand more from corporate partners because we're actually being logical and not just trying to fight against, like Don Quixote, fighting a windmill when that's not even really the reality. That's not the ground truth. That's not what's happening in the trenches. The trenches are the centralized entities are bringing up all the innovation.
And the money.
Yeah. Yeah, they're hand in hand.
Yeah, pretty much. So a little bit about that. Let's talk about gaming just real quick. We talked about the metaverse. Do you think NFT gaming is different than the metaverse or the same?
Is NFT gaming different than the metaverse or the same? They're two sides of the same coin. It goes back to my original point of a paywall. It's essentially like paywalls. If you ever see Roblox, like, or quote unquote, they joke and call it a white paper, but like Roblox reads like NFT. Roblox like reads like this is a Web3 ecosystem. It's just closed to their own chain. And then you realize, oh, they're partnered with Visa. I guess that's the chain, right? The Swift banking system. But it plays out exactly like NFT would. And so it's kind of like these gray terms. Some are going to be yes, some are going to be no. But what's the big difference between a Fortnite account and an NFT? Like both have a record. One's maybe more immutable than the other. I mean, that's a whole different conversation when you start talking about like what servers Solana uses and Ethereum and consent. Like that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not that guy to have that conversation. There's people much smarter than me about that. But what's the difference between, Fortnite tracking my stats and an NFT item that tracked, oh, this gun killed this blockchain player on this date? They're all kind of similar, doing similar things. Some would argue, well, what Epic Games doing is vastly more efficient. It's just a closed ecosystem. So we got to just like take these checks and balances. But I do think like, I'm not some heartless, soulless jerk who
you're just speaking facts, to how you see it.
Yeah, but I am excited. Like I said, I play Gods Unchained. Gods Unchained, I own my cards. My background is a professional Magic the Gathering player. I play on Arena, that's a Magic the Gathering app. I don't own anything. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it sucks. I earn packs. I might get that car that could be worth $50 if there was a digital market, but I can't have that. But I can have that with Gods Unchained, which
Mm.
uses Immutable X and Ethereum. That's super awesome. I've pulled like 50, 20. I pulled a $20 card the other day. Not exciting. I didn't even sell it. I'm not going to use it. I don't even really care. It's like a $20 card, whatever. I'm just hold it. Maybe it'll go up to 100. But it's cool that I am given that asset and I own that asset. So like I do think there's huge advantages, but that's just kind of an outlier because what Immutable X is doing is probably heads and shoulders above the rest of the gaming industry. I'm not trying to be some Gods Unchained maxi, but Immutable X is the foundation, is a L2 on Ethereum for those who don't know, and they created Gods Unchained, so it's actually the same team.
They
And
made their own blockchain for the game, pretty much.
yeah, and it's essentially free. I like it much better than Matic. The bridging, everything seems to be pretty fast, pretty efficient. So
What
yeah,
about
I
Ronin?
love NFTs in games.
Have you checked out Ronin with Axie Infinity?
I haven't. I mean, Axie Infinity just has a bad taste in everyone's mouth because
Facts.
the inevitable dump of every token. Right now, no one has solved, and I've argued about this in spaces. No one has solved the token goes to zero dilemma. And the way I describe it in spaces, it's easy to solve, difficult to execute. The easy to solve is more buying pressure for our games coin than selling pressure. Okay, that seems really easy. It's just the execution is really difficult. Uh, no game essentially has been fun enough where it hits that mass adoption and you don't care if you get paid to play it or not. And so really we just haven't seen it. I don't know when it will. I do think someone will crack the code. Obviously,
Maybe.
probably a lot
Yeah.
of the viewers, I've spent probably 100 to maybe $500 on Fortnite skins. I used to play Clash of Clans on my phone 8 years ago or however long it was. Probably spent $500 on Clash of Clans, and all it did was just save me time. And you know what? Those accounts, I can't sell them. Can't really do anything with them. That's money down a hole that I flushed. And so I am excited for NFTs to kind of solve that issue. Just I don't know what's up with the token thing, man. The token thing just hasn't been solved yet. Someone's going to come along, crack it, but it's going to be off the backs of the game, not the backs of it's on this chain and blah blah. They did a token burn, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
all. That's all just fluff. It's got to be just a fun enough game where you don't care if you're making money or not.
Yeah, of course, of course. So I want to talk a little bit about content now, and specifically in the NFT Web3 space. So cryptocurrency engagement is it's not high right now, but it's a lot more than specifically NFT engagement. I mean, there are
Yes.
so few people actually consuming NFT content. And I've watched a lot of your NFT alpha videos, and they're extremely high quality, right? Like your Claymates video was super good. I think it has like
Thank you.
10,000 views right now.
Thank you.
And if that was, I'm gonna say this, don't take it the wrong way. If it was anything but NFTs, it'd be like a 200K views right now, straight
Yeah.
up. So how can we get more viewers, more people, more eyes to our channels so the NFTs and Web3 in general can get bigger?
The number one thing doing it right now is I don't even like them. It's Reddit. Reddit right now. It's things with large communities leveraging NFTs in a way that's palatable. So Reddit did it with you get your little avatar, and I think you claim it for free. And I think they handle the wallet. I don't have a Reddit NFT, so correct me if I'm wrong, but this is my understanding of the Reddit NFT. And so that took away friction. It's all about friction. People don't like friction. So Fortnite, I just buy the skin like from the home screen. It's all super easy. It's a little bit harder on Immutable X. I got to go to their marketplace and search for a link my wallet, which make sure, am I on the IMX and all that,
Yeah,
so
all
it's
that.
a little bit harder. So it's going to be frictionless experiences with giant communities. Reddit is doing it perfectly right now. Hopefully we see it with GameStop. I don't know, maybe. Hopefully we see it with Starbucks, what Starbucks did recently. Their whole execution on the frictionless experience of having a wallet on my phone is going to be the make or break. So, I mean, it sounds too simple to be true, but it's really just that you have a frictionless experience with a large community. Damn, that's so good. I feel like I'm Gary Vee all of a sudden.
You just snapped right now, and now you're like, yeah, I did say
Yeah,
that
just
actually.
have gratitude. I think he just bought 0.005 for like 100 ETH or something, 50 ETH, some crazy amount. He
Nice.
bought 0.005 ETH. So congrats, Gary, on that purchase. Hope you own the Jets.
There you go. So
You got to
speaking
be
of
grateful. Screw your parents. Sorry. All right. No more impressions.
Sp- Speaking of, content, all that, what's the best way that you found to kind of grow your following? Let's say I'm someone with 100 followers and I'm making bangers on Twitter and I'm making great videos, just no one's watching them. Do you have any advice for people to grow their social media and expand the NFT Web3 space?
Yeah, man, there's a lot of great advice out there, but I think I have a little experience. It's product market fit, and a lot of people, they like to have these idealized images of themselves as like, maybe not like I'm an artiste, maybe not that extent, but they definitely don't see it as a business. And you gotta, to quote Jay-Z, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. There's a comma there. So you got to say, all right, what is my product market fit? For instance, I started as a professional Magic the Gathering player. That started kind of my content career. I looked at that as a business. And so what did that mean? It meant I looked at the times that people are streaming. I looked at what people want to watch. Are people gravitating towards this type of, card playing decks, or are they gravitating toward this type? Is this the good time slot, or is this the good time slot? Is a 10-minute video on YouTube good, or is a 60-minute video good? It's the fling on the wall strategy. So you just throw all types of S at the wall, see what sticks. Why did it stick? Okay, let me double down on that. Another good advice is see what does work, copy them with your spin. Right now, there's a master course on how to make successful YouTube videos, and it's very, very easy. And it's just called Copy Mr. Beast. It's that easy. So you
Yeah.
say, what is Mr. Beast? I mean, I think we can all say Mr. Beast has the most successful YouTube channel right now. I think, he's had the most subs year over year, last year and the year before, and
Multiple
probably this year
countries,
as
multiple
well.
languages, everything.
Multiple languages. He's doing execution well. He knows how, you know what he says, to quote him, watch time plus click through rate. Watch time plus click through rate. What does that mean? Click through rate. You pull up YouTube, there's 20 thumbnails. What are the odds they click yours versus the next guy? So that's your click through rate. Watch time. You have a 10-minute video. Do people bail at 10 seconds, or do they watch all 10 minutes, or somewhere in the middle? So it's watch time plus click through rate. And so you need to find out that sweet spot. So if you're not clicking, start tweaking things. Also, look at the in your space. Who is the Mr. Beast of your space? What is this person
Who is
doing?
it right now in NFT, not crypto, but specifically NFT land?
Specifically NFTs, man, that is such a good question. I
Yeah.
think Giancarlo is putting out pretty good NFT content. I really say it has to be Gary V by default, because
Yeah,
I
that's
know a lot of
facts.
his videos are about like garage sales, or I talked to Russ about an album. I don't care about any of that. I want to talk about NFTs, Gary. But he does NFT content and it's doing real well. And I would say VCon, in a sense, is content. He created a live experience.
It's a
Now
gold mine.
we
It's a
don't
gold
think
mine
of
of content.
content. Yeah, it's a gold mine of content.
Yeah.
Not only like are you getting video content, you created an experience. So like Burning Man as an experience, like they created the content. Just in this particular case, content was an experience. So I would say Gary Vee, but I like Giancarlo. Obviously, I'm biased. NFT Alpha is pretty good, and you're pretty awesome too. But yeah, I don't see too many people just putting out that high level NFT content, unfortunately. What
It's
about you?
hard,
I'm actually interested. Who do you say?
man. For NFTs, it's like I don't even know, because when I look at everyone's videos, they might have 100K subscribers, 200K subscribers, but they're getting like 1,000 views or 2,000 views. Like that's just what happened with the bear market. I
Yeah.
I genuinely, some of the NFT gaming, especially the Axie guys, like we have 50K followers, and a lot of us are getting posts with like 3 likes, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy like how much things have changed. I genuinely don't know anyone I think that's really excelling. I mean, NFT Alpha it's doing pretty good. You guys have some of the most consistent views that I've seen. Shout out to Kagi Gen. He's really going
Dude,
ham.
Kagi, man, it's funny he jumped over to Cardano because yeah, he was so diehard, Axie Infinity ecosystem,
Yeah.
and it was interesting when he's talking about an ADA wallet. I was just like, what's funny is I did a podcast. I think it was the Crypto Stash or Kagi. I don't know. It was one of the shows.
Oh,
He
shout out
was
to
on it.
Stash too. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Stash, man. Me and Stash go back. So yeah, I remember telling all of them about Cardano freaking 6 months ago. They didn't
Oh,
listen. They didn't listen. Now they're here now, though. Better late than never. Like a period.
yeah. Facts. So yeah, but I don't know about the NFT space, but there is one thing I do want to ask you. I want to talk a little bit about influencers and paid promotions. So, what's a good way of doing a paid promotion? What's a bad way of doing a paid promotion? Do you think they're okay? Do you think they shouldn't be done? What are your
Well, a
thoughts?
bad way of doing a paid promotion is doing things you don't like. NFT Alpha, we've done it, and we usually, we don't like leave you a whole, 30-second speech in the beginning. We'll just typically say, and we're appreciative for them, help support the channel. That helps they pay for this video right here, or I'll say something like that. Some people they'll try to make it like a lawyer's looking over their shoulder. I think if what I just said then, if you don't understand like that, I don't know what to
They
say, but
sponsored
yeah,
this video. That boom.
yeah, it's that simple. But I would never talk about something I don't feel comfortable minting. Now, I have lower standards than say like the average Ape Society guy. Like I said, I started in Boss Cat, so who am I? I'm just some guy that looks cool and I like the community. Good enough for me. I don't really, they'll say, oh, they did this wash trade. I'm like, and like I don't really care.
Yeah.
If the art's cool and the community's cool, like I don't really care. So I'm more of one to focus on positives. Some people they're more focused on negatives. So one, make sure it's something that you'd be willing to do a video on, whether or not they paid you. The amount of times I've reached out to teams like, hey, I love your project. Can you share us anything? And they'll say, hey, we'll give you money to do a video. Well, cool, sure. Other ones they don't say that, but I'm like, you know what? You're still getting like Claymates. They don't pay us any money. Like we're not sponsored by Claymates.
Yeah.
But you know what? We spend a lot of money and a lot of time putting out good Claymate content.
That video was
But
crazy. Go watch that, by the way. I might put it in
if
the
they
description.
gave me $1,000, what am I gonna say? No. Like what kind of idiot would do that? But you know what? I'm not gonna do some like random crap NFT. Now I have in the past, we're a little bit like we haven't done sponsor content in a long time. At first, we were looking at it more like we're so new to the space. We didn't know like as many red flags as we know today. And yeah, I remember I
Yeah.
talked about one. I don't even want to give them a shout out, but
No,
like
don't.
they ended up like running with the money and like deleting their Twitters. I was just like
That makes
so
you
taken
look
aback.
so bad because when you do a paid promotion, right? And let me say my opinion real quick. I'm gonna toss it back to you. I think exactly what you said. It's okay to do a paid promotion if one, you disclose that it is a paid promotion, and two, it's something that you personally would buy or have bought, and three, if you personally believe in the project. I think it's okay as long as you do those things, but it's a really awkward situation because you're putting your reputation on the line for this company that you may have the best intentions. You may think they're the next Bored Ape Yacht Club, but they could just run, right? And it's so risky for content creators to actually do paid promo because you really put your reputation on the line. So go ahead. Sorry about that little tangent.
Well, I will say this, like to Ben's point, he caught a lot of flack about paid promotion, and a lot of the people that were most championed by the community were like, I almost don't even want to say this word because they might like people might figure it out. Some of them are literal billionaires, or at least we're in November, October, November, December, like literally 8, 9, 10 figure individuals. And so it's really easy to them to point a finger and say, what an evil person for taking money to talk about a project.
Yeah.
It's like you joker, not everyone has $100 million. Not everyone has $1 million. Like not everyone has $1,000 in their bank account. Not everyone has one ETH. Not everyone has 100 ADA. And so,
Yeah.
it's like walk a mile in someone's shoes. We're a pretty big company. We have like 40 employees. That money comes from somewhere. And so it is frustrating seeing them catch flack when it's like, it's paying for my coworkers' dental insurance.
Yeah.
And so it's like, they have this like evil connotation with it. And it's like, it's literally someone's child's health care. It paid for, someone's daughter's doctor visit, like that's where this money's going. And so, yeah, I take a little umbrage with any kind of like overly negative sentiment towards it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on NFT royalties, right? This industry standard is 5%. Do you think that's a good number? What do you think about royalties?
I actually don't. I think it's too low. That's like me putting my businessman hat on. I don't think, flipping is a good mentality compared to like hodling because you believe in a project. And the downside of that is you don't have that sales volume. And so you can have misaligned incentives where if you just want to create flippers, maybe you're like more hype driven than value driven. If you want people to hold long time, that means your company literally lowers their revenue. And so you're kind of stuck in this like catch 22. Even if the floor is 100 ETH, if no one sells and you got one sell every 2 days, you're really not making that much money compared to the hot mint that's 0.5 ETH. And so it's this weird balance of the community feels like 10% is, evil and outlandish and like, adjacent to a rug pull, where, Gary Vee, he put on a good product. And that product was VCon. I went to VCon. It was pretty cool. That requires money. And like people just they like just expect people to like have all this money just come out of thin air. I experienced that with Pluto Alliance. We had a lot of expensive dev costs. And right now we're putting on a cruise. We have utility where if you forge matching backgrounds, like, you say you mint and you have, we have like 10 different backgrounds with a front, a middle, and a last. So it's like 30 different backgrounds. The middle panel is the rare panel. And so like if you happen to get matching backgrounds, you can forge, go on a cruise. We pay for everything. It's all expenses paid. You don't got to pay for, I think maybe alcohol because like there's a legal thing there.
Yeah.
But we pay them for your food. We pay them for your stay. I think we even give you a little travel money too. You get money to travel to it. That requires money. And so people get upset that, hey, the team kept an allocation and now we're going to allocate, we're one of our 50 NFTs we kept from the mint. We're going to auction it off and we're going to put the money back in the project. And they get mad. It's like, what do you expect? Do you want value? Do you want an Ape Fest? Or do you want a roadmap that doesn't do anything? Well, like you got to kind of temper your expectations and maybe don't look at a 10% as, oh my God, it's just bad. Look at it. Does this founder have a track record of delivering? If the answer is yes, I'm very comfortable spending 10, even 15, 20 if it's like, oh my God, it's like the craziest utility in the world.
That makes sense. And I usually say this about once per podcast, so I'm going to say it again. I completely support NFT royalties. I think it's silly for people to buy NFTs and think, hey, we should completely remove royalties. Guys, these people got to pay their bills. They got to send their kids to school. They got to put food on their plates, everything like that. So at the end of the day, it is a business. You're buying an NFT from a business who has a roadmap, who has a plan that they need to execute on. And they need money, guys. Developers are in extremely high demand right now, especially Web3. They can easily get 6 figures not working for the NFT project they're at right now. So the fact that they're doing that, they need to be paid and compensated, or else they're all going to leave and they're going to go back to Web 2. So we got.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing our drop. The JPEG Junkies is like $30 or something, 30 something. Maybe 32, 30. I don't know what it is exactly. Well, it depends on ADA that day. Now it's down, so now it's closer to like $32. Yeah, we're doing like 6,000, $30. You do the math. We're not making 10 million. We're not making 1 million. We're not making $250,000. And so, yeah, you're trying to deliver value to 6,000 people. Like, yeah, you got to have royalties. You got to.
Yeah, facts. And if you don't agree with that, I would say just sell the project, go support another one, honestly. Yeah. So if you were to start your own project, which you actually are, so I guess this kind of answers the question, what chain would you launch on and why?
Yeah, I mean, we chose Cardano because of, one, the community, two, it is a bear market. So we are mindful of things like gas fees, and we are mindful of, how much things cost. When, people are going to have struggles to pay light bills. They're going to struggle to, get some Christmas gifts, for all the people that they want. So, yeah, I mean, that's why we chose Cardano, because if you do a $30 NFT on ETH, I almost feel like it should just be free. Like it's just like such a low amount.
It's 0.02, I think, right now. Like
way less. Yeah, 0.1 would be roughly $150. So 0.01 is like 50. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Yeah, 0.02. Now that isn't crazy when ETH is $4,000, but we actually operate out of business. So the second we're done minting, we cash that into fiat. Why? Because we're gonna have a tax bill.
Yeah. Taxes.
Why? Like we don't want to like take in $1 million, then our underlying asset falls 80%, just like ETH did. Then Taxman comes due. He don't care that it fell 80%. He said, you raised this much money on October 8th. That's our mint date, by the way. So we're going to cash out into Tether. We're going to cash out into stablecoin, and then we're going to start building. But yeah, you got to have those. That's why we chose Cardano. I do love Cardano. I said the community, it's a smart group of people. I mean, you've probably just kind of seen that yourself. When you thought of Cardano maxis 2 years ago, 1 year ago, let's be honest, is the nerdiest person you knew. Okay, it wasn't the guy that you think of like the Fonz. That wasn't the guy telling you Cardano.
I'm
It was
thinking of the South Park meme where it's the guy on the keyboard and he is like eating stuff,
yeah, it's that
playing
guy.
World of
It's
Warcraft.
the people like The Office. Well, actually, Oscar was a
Yeah.
well actually. Cardano's a room full of well actuallys. Heck, I heard it in a space last night. Someone said Vasil,
Oh yeah,
and then someone
Vaseline.
said, "Hey man, is it?" Well, he had a foreign accent, and so they're like, look, guys, we got to get our branding under control. Like people are saying Vassal, some are saying Vasil, and then someone came in and said, well, actually, it's Babbage. And it's like, oh my God. We're like literally having a talk about, and I know the guy. I'll say his name because people might think of hating. I love his spaces, real talk. It's a pretty awesome space they do. I think every Tuesday. It's like this is our problem. Like we're saying, hey, look, guys, here's the problem, and then they just keep compounding the problem, and it is a little frustrating to see in the Cardano community that marketing is maybe the average skill set's a little bit lower versus your average Solana person, ETH person when it comes to the founders. Just
Yeah.
generally speaking. Just generally speaking.
Yeah, that makes sense. They're not all like that, but there is a
No,
select
no,
handful of people who are. And I'm not gonna say they're like a stain in the community or anything. I think
no, of
that
course not.
community is just a lot. They're a lot more tech focused, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? I think there's a lot of pushback from people like Wob and I, who are trying to join, and we are not really that into tech. We're more into the community and the culture. And I think there's actually a lot of people in Cardano that are like us. They're just kind of being overshadowed by the more techies, but there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's going to evolve over time and things will change.
Yeah, Cardano Whale, come back. We miss you, by the way.
Yeah, for real. I don't know why you left, but definitely come back, man. There's a lot of space to grow for the
Yeah,
entire
and I,
community.
I know the tech pretty well. I mean, I know about like layering trades and NFTs and which chains and advantages and disadvantages. But when I talk to like a Cardano tech person or even a Solidity dev, yeah, I just shut up. Okay, I don't want to say the wrong thing. And I host ATV every day, so like it's my job to know these things. And man, like compared to a Solana story, compared to a Cardano story, I'm sweating the Cardano story a little bit more because I know the reply guys are much more likely to attack me on Cardano. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. It kind of just is the facts of the situation. They, like you said, I think it's a fair assessment. They are more tech focused.
So basically, we're going to close out here. If there's anything else you want to say to the people, maybe get a little call to action, tell them where to follow you, all that stuff, feel free to go ahead and say that.
Yeah, you can catch me Deezy_BTC, also Deezy.eth, JPEG Junkies, launching October 8th, the Saturday of CNFT Con. I think it's going to be 5 p.m. UTC. So check it out. It's only going to be 69 ADA. We kind of spelled out I don't know, just some cool things that would be cool if happened. I don't know. Just keep an eye out. It's
Maybe.
not a project I would sleep on. Big maybes, big capital M. But I'm looking forward to catching some people at CNFT Con, meet some of y'all, put the faces behind the apes, the face behind the clay. A lot of these founders I'm excited about meeting, and hopefully see you out there. Let's show the community, the NFT community, Cardano does know how to have fun.
Yeah, I mean, please. And I'll see you there too. So we'll definitely
Yeah.
have to link up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Deezy. Once again, make sure to give him a follow. All the links will be in the description below. And you are watching Farmer Nash. Remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment for who you want me to interview next. We do projects, founders, and people. Anyone is on the table. Remember to like, remember to subscribe, like, subscribe, like, subscribe.